why should Lamar Jackson be NFL MVP? And I'll kind of just give my take real quick on why he's in the discussion. One, you got Brock Purdy, who's the heavy favorite right now to win the NFL MVP. I look at the comments. There are a lot of 49 fans that act like they don't care. It's like, oh, we don't care about that. Just win the Super Bowl. But then it's like, well, why do y'all get so upset when they say that somebody else either competing with them or over? So a lot of people do care about this MVP conversation. Now, again, everybody would love to hoist a Lombardi over the MVP. But Lamar Jackson, I think what he's doing is really kind of special. If you go kind of player for player, you ask just 49er fans, right? Would you rather have, Deebo Samuel or Zay Flowers? Most 49er fans would say, I'd rather have Deebo Samuel. If you ask most 49er fans, would you rather have Brandon Ayuk or Odell Beckham? They'll say they'd rather have Odell Beckham. If you ask 49er fans, would you rather have Gus Edwards or CMC? I'd rather have CMC. If you ask most 49er fans, if you'd rather have George Kittle or Andrews, it might be a mix of them, but Andrews isn't playing. So is it likely or is it Kittle? They'll say Kittle, right? So you look at really kind of position for position, the 49er fan base would take all of their players over Ravens players. But even then, Lamar Jackson, and I talked about how I feel like he's kind of carrying his team a little bit. And you see the ups and downs. You talk about some of the inconsistencies with the offense, which I think is to be expected for a quarterback who really has to put everything on his shoulders. So when they talk about him being potential MVP, he's leading this team right now to an 11-3 record. Obviously, the defense plays well. But do you think that there's a case for that Lamar Jackson should be the MVP over Brock Purdy right now?
All right. Now, MVP, most valuable player. My thing is, if you really go by the wording of that, and you think about the front runners, you think about Brock Purdy, you think about Dak was in it and maybe still be in it. You think about Lamar, and you think about Tyreek. And the way I do it is, would any of those teams have the remote success that they have if you remove that person from it? And I'm just speaking on this year. So if you remove Tyreek from the Dolphins, are they 10 and whatever they are? No, but they probably got a decent record. They're probably 8 and whatever. If you take Dak out of that because of the Dallas defense, they're probably sitting at 8 and something, probably not at the 10 win, but they're probably 7 or 8 wins. If you move Purdy out of your guys' situation, are you sitting in that situation? I don't know, because I don't know what's behind Purdy, as far as a backup or whatnot, but I do know what's around him to help whoever the backup is. Now, if you take Lamar out of our situation, we might have five wins, maybe, because we've seen what our offense looks like with Tyler Huntley for 2 straight years. So we know that if you pull him out of our offense, damn near go to shit. So if you pull just MVP, like the actual meaning, I think that's why Lamar is, because he's doing way more with way less. And yes, the wide receiver room is better. Yes, the play calling is better. But I'll take, and I know you mentioned OBJ over Ayuk, but I'd still take all those guys you named over the guys we got, with the exception of quarterback. All of them. Any day of the week.
I think and I hear what you're saying. I think a better way to kind of even phrase that is if you just put a regular quarterback, like just a normal, a bottom half of the league starting quarterback on those teams, right? So let's say if you put the 23rd best quarterback on the Baltimore Ravens, what would that look like with him as opposed to the 23rd best quarterback on the San Francisco 49ers?
Exactly.
Right? Because you say, like, on any team, if you take away their starting, if you take away Buffalo's quarterback, Josh Allen, like, what does the team look like then? And you say, probably bad. And I'd say we say that about most teams. But if you just put a competent quarterback, on Baltimore Ravens, or a quarterback.
So I did that I used Snoop Huntley. I used our backup. So I said, if you took Snoop Huntley and put him in San Francisco, they probably wouldn't be 10 or 11 wins, whatever the number is, but they'd be okay. They'd be okay. If you took him and put him in Dallas, they'd be okay. If you took him and put him in Miami, they'd be okay. But him in Baltimore, we've seen it. They ain't okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah. You saw that last year, losing and losing 3 out of 4, 7 games, or excuse me, losing 4 out of 7 games. It's kind of creeping into the playoffs, but then kind of, losing there, which is crazy because Huntley, I remember watching him in the preseason last year. He was completing like 90% of his passes. I'm like, damn, this is maybe I got the best backup in the league. And then it's like, then when you got to really play, that's when you find out if a guy has the stuff to be either like kind of a starter in the league or is like, nah, this guy needs to stay on the bench and we need Lamar to stay healthy.
He made the Pro Bowl.
Did he?
Yes, he was a Pro Bowl quarter. Snoop made the Pro Bowl last year.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.